Today, we retake our homeworld, and with it, our legacy.
Haha, how's it going, everybody? My name is Mr. Martash, and welcome to the Starcraft 2 Legacy of the Void review. Now, to be quite fair with you, Legacy of the Void has been out for over a month. The thing is, I didn't know that it was already out until quite recently, and then I bought it, and then I played the shit out of it, and actually I'm still kind of playing it. So Legacy of the Void is the third expansion to the Starcraft 2 story, and also it's the wee kind of bow which ties up the story and, you know, kind of ends it. So you play as the Protoss in this expansion, who are basically an alien race with super technology that has no mouths and they can speak through their brains or whatever. So the campaign was actually surprisingly really awesome, but for me the campaign experience was a bit less than the other two campaigns, and I'll get into that in a second. So the campaign takes place directly after Heart of the Swarm, and you are now the Protoss. You're a guy called Artenis, who is now the leader of the Protoss Templar, and there's also other factions which we'll get to in a second. And basically, you're on a war, basically gonna retake your homeworld back from the crazy ass aliens known as Zerg. Think of aliens from, you know, Alien, but lots of them. That's what Zerg are. But this Protoss guy who's been throughout the entire StarCraft 2 campaigns called Zeratul comes in and says, don't do it, it's kind of like a trap, right? And well, Zeratul was right, it's a trap, and everything goes to shit.
I can hear his whispers. Fight, Artenis. Do not let Amon consume you. Unending hatred. He has corrupted the Kala. Your nerve cords chain you to his will. They must be removed.
The big boss, which has been basically hinted to throughout the entire StarCraft 2 campaigns, is now officially here, and he's now doing some actual big ass shit. So what this big guy does, who's actually called Amon by the way, he takes over all Protoss who are connected to the Kala. So what's the Kala, you might ask? Well, the Kala is a special thing which Protoss have, where they connect to each other through their thoughts, and they can feel everyone's feelings, and basically, yeah. So everyone gets taken over by Amon, except the people who have cut the Kala and are separated from it. And then you get some spoilers which happen, and then, you know, the game actually then begins officially.
My life for ire.
So the campaign is basically about finding other Protoss factions, getting them to ally with you, and then, you know, stopping Amon. But the campaign for StarCraft Legacy of the Void was not as good as the previous two campaigns, like I said. The previous two campaigns had choices to be made, very difficult choices, ones which can completely change the entire campaign. In Wings of Liberty, the Terran campaign, the human campaign, you had to choose between certain missions. So not only are you allowed to choose which missions you want to do first, but what mission would you rather do other than the other ones. So you end up having to choose, should I side with them or should I side with them? And then will I get those units or will I get these units? And it's that kind of choosing which makes the game a lot better and a lot better for replayability. Same for Heart of the Swarm. They had some moments where it feels kind of similar to Legacy of the Void in some way, where when you get the Zerglings, you're allowed to choose one of the 3 different abilities which you can swap at any point throughout the entire game, either for damage, to attack speed, to armor, whatever. But then along the lines, you're allowed to fully just morph these Zerglings into two different choices which you can choose from. One which makes them faster and jump up cliffs, where the other one just makes them spawn within 3 seconds and then there's 3 of them at one time, which is awesome. Whereas in Legacy of the Void, there's not any choices to be seen. You're allowed to choose which mission to do first, but not any mission which, you know, I'll do that mission because it's got that unit rather than this unit. So what they do in Legacy of the Void is you gain 3 different unit types for each unit. So for the main infantry, the Zealot, you get one faction Zealot, then you get another faction Zealot, and then there's a third faction Zealot. And each one's got different abilities. But there's no real choices to be made. I would really love there to be more factions out there where I could actually choose which faction I wanted to join my cause. Whereas that was not there. It was just about, you look better, you look awesome, I'll take you got more damage, let's go. And you don't really change throughout the entire game, so it kind of diminishes that replayability factor. So we have to talk about the cutscenes right now. Like when the Heart of Swarm trailer came out, everyone basically said make a fucking movie. And we're gonna be doing it again. Make a fucking movie, Blizzard. One for Starcraft. Because your cutscenes for the opening scene is awesome. Not only that, even cutscenes throughout the entire game are so good.
Our proud people became refugees. And yet, they could not shatter our unity. For we are bound by the Kala, the sacred union of our every thought and emotion. Today, we retake our homeworld. with it, our legacy.
There are the other cutscenes which are made in-game, which look okay, not too great, but they do the job.
Deceive me again, and this alliance of ours comes to an end.
Slaying Malash's guardians fulfilled more than one purpose. Once the High Lord lies dead at my feet, none will challenge my rule. After all these years, my victory is nearly at hand. I feel his concern on Tanis. He knows that I'm coming for him.
So the campaign is fun to play through, but it's not as good as the other two campaigns. But it is a fun time, and you'll love it anyway. What else does Legacy of the Void bring to the table? Well, they bring in a new mode called Co-op. So this co-op mode is basically you and your friend, or you and anyone else online can play a mission which requires you to complete objectives and work together as a team, and you're allowed. So yeah, you're allowed to choose the difficulty of the missions, basically choosing the AI difficulty, and you're allowed to choose out of 6 different character profiles. So what are these character profiles? Well, these character profiles are like Artenis, they are James Raynor, they are Carrigan, all these really well-known people in Starcraft 2. And basically each one of them has different units and different styles of gameplay. James Raynor is focused on infantry and support, and things to support that infantry. Whereas Artenis is basically warping in everything. Now this is a cool idea, but I always felt kind of compelled to choose one of these champions, or one of those leaders. There was one leader that had everything I wanted in the Terran race, such as, you know, James Raynor, but there was another leader which had something cool and I wanted to kind of mix. And what I mean by that, well, for each leader you get upgrades. So basically when you play as that leader, when you go through the missions, you level up. And when you level up, you gain an upgrade for that leader. Possibly being it does 10% more damage, no more probes have to mine or have to mine Vespene gas, and also a whole ton of other things. And so you end up having a massive conflict between which person you want to be as. Do I want to be that person because he's got this, or do I want to be her because she has this and this, but this person also has that? So you end up in this massive confusion, swapping between them constantly, and you can't really find the character you want to be as. I would like it if they brought in a system where you're allowed to build your own kind of leader, where they give you a certain number of points in each upgrade, costs of points, and you're allowed to put basically create your own list. If that was true, I'll basically choose Protoss. I'll make it they have void rays and stalkers. I'll make it so I don't have to mine Vespene gas. I'll make it that I can warp in every fucking thing. And voila, my entire army done. So what has Legacy of the Void done to the multiplayer? Well, of course they put in a new menu screen, which looks epic as fuck. But what also they've done is that they've made expanding and creating a second base and mining from 2 bases a lot more quickly to do it in. Whereas other games you can probably hang back quite quickly and just wait a bit. Whereas in this game you mine out your minerals pretty damn fast, so you have to expand, and if you expand you kind of have a lead over your opponent. Now I will say this straight out, I am shit at this game. I cannot play this with my life, but I enjoy it so much. The game is Starcraft has always been a very competitive game, whereas I am not entirely competitive for Starcraft because I know I'm shit and I know I'm gonna get fucking beat, like hell. but it's a fun game. So, oh no, it's a good game, and it's kind of worth the £24 mark. If they were asking for £60 mark, they could fuck off, and they're just as bad as EA, but they're not. So I give props to that. The campaign is an okay campaign. It's nothing great. It's not as great as the other two campaigns, so that's one thing to note. But the multiplayer is a lot more refined. There's a lot more balance. Some things are still too OP, but other than that, you have a good time, no doubt. After saying all this game gets a worthy 8 out of 10. The campaign is nothing too great, but it is still fun to play, and also it brings to close a very nice ending to the Starcraft 2 story. So that, but in itself, would probably get a 7 out of 10. But with the co-op and all the new additions to multiplayer, this game gets an extra 1 point basically, and it comes at 8 out of 10, which is almost 10 out of 10. So it's pretty damn good. But it's not as good as the other ones, which would probably be 9s out of 10 each. But either way, this game is pretty damn good anyway. So everyone, thanks so much for watching this video, and I'll see you all in the next one. Bye bye.
My will is not so easily broken, Amon. The firstborn shall fear you no longer!